What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Another video means another dopamine high because I had to buy something that feels something, and today we're back at it for another review. For today's review, we are taking a look at Hasbro's Star Wars The Black Series Imperial Remnant ATRT driver, and this figure is part of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie line, and obviously this is a brand new Imperial Trooper variant. Disney obviously has to cash in on figures and other merchandise, so they had to give us a new variant, but honestly, I do not hate this design, and I just, I don't think I hate any of the designs that we've gotten while Disney's owned Star Wars. I think my least favorite would be the Patrol Trooper, but even then that design isn't awful. And as awesome as it is to get the figure for this new Trooper variant before the movie's even out, there's one downside, and it's the fact that there's no screenshots, there's no reference images, there's nothing I can use to try and compare how accurate this figure is to the on-screen appearance. I mean, Hasbro does a pretty good job at accurately, transferring, the on-screen appearance into figure form, so I'm not too worried about that, but I still like to have those photos just in case. And unfortunately, this figure comes with basically none. There's like 2 promotional images of the Imperial ATRT driver, but I had to really dig for those. I know the next best thing is Hot Toys' Imperial Remnant ATRT driver, and that's because Hot Toys works very closely with the design/prop department for their figures, so they get all this kind of special privilege and whatnot. But regardless, I'm happy that I have this figure, and it's mostly because I'm a sucker for troopers and Star Wars. If you've seen any of my other reviews, you know this. I love my boys in shiny armor and helmets. So with all that said, at any point during or after the video you realize you want to pick up this figure for yourself, I have a variety of online locations where you can do so, and I will obviously leave a link in the description so you can access those sites. So starting at the standard retail price of $27.99, we have Hasbro Pulse, Entertainment Earth, and the Big Bad Toy Store. And then we have actually a lower price for $24.97 on Walmart and Amazon, and then for a whopping $28.49 you can go to the GameStop website. And similar to the Mandalorian and Grogu 2-pack that I reviewed, there's no listing on the Target website for some reason. I've seen this figure in Target and they're just not on the website, so whenever that changes I will update the description of the video, so if you do want to pick up this figure at Target you can do so. And with all that said, I think it's about time we open up this bad boy. So for the packaging, it is our standard Black Series packaging with that nice bold blue for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. On the side of the packaging we have a nice portrait of the Imperial Remnant ATRT driver, and on the back we have that same portrait with a brief description of what he's all about, but it looks like just promotion for the movie, so it is what it is. And back on the front it looks like everything is included, all 2 things. So with all that said, let's open up this bad boy. So right out of the box, I can confirm I have nothing bad to say about the visual presentation of this figure. I think Hasbro did a great job, and despite being a snow themed unit, there's a lot of variation in the paint work. There's some black and red on this figure as well, but also because this is an Imperial Remnant figure, it's a lot dirtier. His armor is a lot grimier than, let's say, a regular Imperial unit, because the Remnant can't just get new stuff on a whim. They have to scavenge and hold on to what they have, and this really shows here. There's dirt and grime and grit in the paneling of the armor. There's chips in his paint. It really shows that he's holding on to this armor and doing his best to keep it in a alright condition. And when it comes to the sculpt work of this figure, there's only 2 things that are being reused, and that is the helmet and chest piece. Obviously the helmet is a Shore Trooper helmet, but the chest piece is also a Shore Trooper helmet as well. As far as I understand, everything else is new. I mean, the legs are obviously Snow Trooper legs. I don't know if they're the original Snow Trooper legs, because the last time we got a Snow Trooper that wasn't a re-release was 2016, so I doubt that these are 2016 legs, which means please Hasbro, give us a updated Snow Trooper figure. That would be awesome. So if you do own a Shore Trooper, you should know what to expect for the chest piece and helmet, and I have no issue with the mold of that figure, so I have no issue with how it looks here. As for the new and original parts, I have no issues with them as well. well. The armor looks great. I love the undersuit with all the wrinkles and folds to give it that cloth effect. And the comma on this figure actually isn't awful. I know that I'm a cloth goods guy, but spoiler alert for the articulation segment in this video, the comma does not affect the leg movement on this figure, which I appreciate. I mean, you might not be able to get him to kneel on one leg perfectly, but as far as visuals go, this comma looks fine. And again, I just love how this figure looks, and I don't think Hasbro could have done a better job with this figure. And to whoever designed this Imperial unit did such a great job at blending the classic snowtrooper design with the new shore trooper design. It's just a perfect blend of old and new Star Wars Imperial unit design. So kicking off with articulation, we can rotate the head 360 degrees, and then we can tilt the head side to side as well. And then finally, we can have our figure look up and down. And in all of that range in the head, we can get a nice spherical range of motion. And then we can bring the arm up and over 360 degrees. And we can spin the arm 360 degrees at this horizontal angle as well. And then we can bring the arm up and down a decent amount. And if you flip the arm 180 degrees, we can still bring it up and down a decent amount as well. And there is a butterfly joint in the shoulder to allow us to further extend the arm of our figure. And then from the elbow down, you can rotate the arm 360 degrees, and we get a nice elbow bend out of this figure going slightly above the 90-degree mark. And even the wrist can be rotated independently from the rest of the arm, so you don't have to move the hand or the forearm. It's its own thing, which I think is pretty cool. And then when it comes to the hands, you can rotate them 360 degrees and rotate the wrist however you please, or the hand, seeing that the wrist is independent from the hand on this. And then moving over to the torso, you can rotate it 360 degrees, and then we can also get a nice side to side motion with the torso as well. And then finally for the torso, we can sway it back and forth. And then moving down to the legs, you can unfortunately not rotate the legs 360 degrees due to the comma. If the comma wasn't there, I absolutely have faith that you'd be able to, but the range that we are given still feels natural and organic, so I guess isn't. And staying in the upper thigh area, we can get a nice pivot for the legs as well. And when it comes to the splittage, by no means are you getting a full split due to the comma, but the split is still good nonetheless. It's probably what I would be able to achieve as well. And then moving down to the knee, you can rotate it 360 degrees independently from the upper portion of the leg. And then when it comes to the knee bend, it's pretty good. It just goes above the 90-degree mark, which is nice. But just like with the Mandalorian figure that I just reviewed, the knee pad strap does get in the way, but with this figure, it's not as much of an issue. And then going down, we can rotate the boot 360 degrees independently from the rest of the leg. And then when it actually comes to the foot, you can rotate it 360 degrees and bend the ankle however you please. And as for accessories, there's only one included with this figure, and it is this Imperial blaster pistol, or for the nerds out there like myself, the SC14R light repeating blaster. But it's the only thing included, and it's, you know, something we've seen before, and I've had no issues with it prior, so if you own one of these, you know what to expect. It's got a lot of detail for such a small canvas, and the paint job is very simple. It's all just this dark shade of gray. And if you don't feel like displaying your figure with his blaster pistol, there's a holster for it to be stored. It's a simple slide in slide out function, and it's very nice to have just so you can have him hold larger weapons or other accessories while keeping this on him. And on the topic of accessories, I think one thing Hasbro could have done is given us just one more blaster. I mean, in this video you're gonna see me have him holding other blasters that aren't included, specifically the Imperial sniper rifle, aka the DLT-20A blaster rifle, and I want to make it very clear that I thought giving it to him was a good idea before Hot Toys released their Imperial ATRT driver, because he comes with one of those, and I'm just making it clear now that was my idea before that figure was even announced, so suck it, I don't know. But in all seriousness, I think one more blaster would have been nice. I don't think it would have hurt Hasbro's wallets. They've done figures that come with 2 blasters like Clone Troopers all the time, so something like an E11 or a DLT heavy blaster would have been nice. Just something would have, just to make it worth more while purchasing this figure. And here we are at the turntable segment of the video, pretty much where I go over what I like, dislike, pros, cons, strengths, weaknesses, stuff like that, just general thoughts and discussion, get all my, words out there and give y'all stuff to bounce off of to get a conversation started, which means if y'all want to go down in the comment section below and talk about this stuff, I'll obviously reply to y'all's comments because I like talking about this stuff. I wouldn't be making videos on it if I didn't, but I like to kick this segment off with the negatives, the cons, all the sour stuff, just to get out of the way because I don't like dwelling on the negative any longer than I already have to. And two very small things come to mind when it comes to this figure. The first one, which is I don't know if it's because it would make the figure inaccurate technically, but if they just made the comma like an inch, not even like half an inch shorter, just so he can kneel on one knee, that would be great. But I mean, again, this figure isn't like completely restricted because of the comma. It's just something I noticed is the figures that come with the longer plastic commas have a harder time kneeling because of it. And then the second thing is just one more blaster would have been nice. It's not the end of the world. I still love this figure. I just think he would have definitely felt more worth it if one more blaster was included. So when it comes to the positives regarding this figure, one thing I want to make very clear is that this figure doesn't do anything new, doesn't bring anything new to the table for Black Series, doesn't reinvent the wheel or anything like that, but that's not a bad thing. This figure does what it's supposed to do. Hasbro was given a goal, they set out to do it, and they completed it. The standards for the Black Series are already really good for articulation and visuals, so I will say the articulation is good for this figure. It meets those standards. Very happy with that, even with the slight limitations in the legs due to the comma. Very happy with the overall range that we're given. And as for the visuals, I couldn't be any happier. This is what I expect from Hasbro. I'm a big fan of the grit and the grime in the armor to bring out those finer details and really give this armor some character. The chip paint also adds to that as well. And overall, just very happy with the visual presentation on this figure. And that's pretty much all I got for pros and cons. So just to summarize, this is probably your most run-of-the-mill Black Series release of just a figure that has decent articulation, decent visuals, comes with an accessory. Even though I think he should have come with one more blaster, this is your standard Black Series release, and it's good. Black Series quality is good, so you're gonna pay for what you get for the most part. Please, one more blaster. It's all you needed. And obviously this is subjective, but obviously this design is awesome, so you get a really cool looking figure as well. So there you go. So that is the Imperial Remnant ATRT driver. If you have this figure already, please tell me how you feel about this figure. Do you like him? Do you dislike him? And like I said in the intro of the video, if you feel like picking up this figure at any time during or after the video, well, it'd be after the video now, there are links in the description to places where you can pick up this figure for yourself. And if you enjoyed this video, a like and a subscription would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to bounce off anything that I did say throughout the video, feel free to leave a comment. I'll most likely reply because I obviously love talking about this stuff. And don't worry about the bell, because we both know that shit is broken. And if you want to see more content like this, I just reviewed the Mandalorian and Grogu 2-pack not too long ago, and I already have a handful of other Black Series reviews up on the channel, so feel free to go check those out. But if you like Halo, Alien, Predator, Alien vs Predator, or Warhammer, I got videos covering those franchises as well. And with all that said, please have a great day and stay hydrated. It's important.